Welcome to Dream Window.
It's a dream window time, and the weather is fine. Dream window.
Looking out this window right now, off into the distance.
Hey, this is weird.
You see it too? What is that?
I see you in the dream window.
You see me out the window.
Yeah,
What size am I?
way smaller. It's like you photoshopped your face.
A little itty bitty me?
Yeah,
You seen an itty bitty heart?
like a tiny heart with a big head. It's like a bobblehead heart.
Let me exhale for a moment. Oh God, my head's gone.
Complete airhead syndrome.
Another classic case of airhead syndrome. What's that behind my big head? Where my big head once was.
Well, now I can see out the dream window, so at least we
Finally.
can start. It's Montreal in the springtime, just walking through the gardens, back alleys. Yeah, I'm in your neighborhood, in the glorious back alleys.
It's beautiful. The alleys smell like my bath.
Is that the salt bath combination?
Epsom salts. Yeah, Dr. Teals. I think he's a bath doctor.
You're a big bather.
I am a big bather.
Well, you have a whole bathing setup.
It's funny because I don't really get clean from the bath. Sometimes I have the water so hot, I get out and I'm sweating, and it had the opposite effect of a bath. So I'll even get in the bath without water. I don't see this need for water in baths. I don't know who made that rule.
So that's why you have so much reading material?
So the bath is like a hammock. It's a hammock without water.
You know, there was always this weird, and it's not like the 1980s where you would have a transistor radio that could electrocute you by your bathtub.
I was just talking about that. That's like a thing of the past, right? It seemed like every joke was, why don't you throw a radio in the bath?
And now your cell phone will be broken. But
No, they're waterproof now. Even the cell phone is fine in the bath. You can just let it float. Everything. You know what? I used to love taking baths because I couldn't bring electronics into the bath, and I'm a little upset that now I have the new iPhone and I'm not nervous of it in the bath. I was like, that. It was my oasis. It's kind of like a desert island. You know, you pick your book. It's like a desert island. When people are always like, what are the 3 things you'd pick for your desert island? You can do a mini version of that in a bath. Now when I do my laundry, all the old water from the machine comes out into the bathtub. But the way the bathtub is it's not tilted to the drain, so it'll settle and dirt will be there. And then I'll be like, I'm kind of like grossed out about it. Like, there's dirt on the bottom of my bathtub. I don't want to get into it. But like, have you ever been to a lake? Nobody ever complains about this lake's got so much dirt in it. You're going into that water with dirt, but people would mock me for bathing in this dirty water.
Filthy water. And they brag about it too. You know, they
like a mud bath.
I mean, yeah, like they brag about how clear the water in their lake is.
Like, people are like, I have the less dirty lake. There's the least amount of dirt in my lake. I got a better lake than you. My
partner went back to her hometown this week, which is Bordeaux, France.
Yeah.
And it's interesting because they're almost embarrassed by their river,
right?
Because it's a brown river that goes right through the middle of Bordeaux.
It's like a stew.
It's this brown stew.
They got a stew lake,
and it's not pretty water. Like, when it comes down to it, and there's people out there jet skiing. It's not, and it's actually the mud.
Yeah,
it's so muddy, which is almost like why it's the most fertile place on the planet, and Chinese billionaires own all the wine fields around there because it's like so rich and so full of nutrients.
Yeah,
it's not that.
They got like the rich soil that people pay for and seek out, right?
Seek out, because this is like, actually, it's just really muddy, and you see people out in jet skis in it, but it just doesn't look like what you would take for photography.
It's not that picturesque green crystal water of like a Florida, what do you call it? A Florida postcard from 1980 with cocaine on it.
You know, exactly that turquoise ideal.
Yeah.
Which is not how water is I mean,
That
water
turquoise water is beautiful, though.
And even just 90% of the time, water is just a reflection of the sky.
Oh, so
when you're
they
out
have
there
a
in the
muddy
ocean
sky?
and you're seeing this really, really blue water, what you're seeing is all this blue sky uninterrupted and reflecting off the water.
But is it also that the water is so deep there that there's...
It's deep and it's clear and and it doesn't have any mud in it.
Yeah.
But again,
or the mud's further down.
To Montreal's credit, the city does have great public spaces.
Yeah.
Which are truly public spaces that we spend tons of money on. That park, that pirate park by my place. Oh, the one we went to for your birthday. We showed up there a lot for photo shoots.
Yeah.
That small park that has
it's got the little gazebo things.
the little swinging
Yeah.
chairs.
Yeah.
And then like that wood chip area for children. We call it
Yeah.
Pirate Park because it kind of looks like a pirate ship. That park, when the city closed it off, and then the story was it took 3 years to renovate.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is absurd. It's taking way too long. And they had the price tag on it. It was $1 million.
Yeah.
and they do have all this cut stone. Like it's $1 million park.
Yeah.
And over the course of 3 years, I thought it took absurdly too long of time. And I'm just like, come on, man. Children are going to be old. Can you believe being a child here at 3?
Yeah.
And exactly. You had to go to school before the park was ready. All those golden years completely lost. But, yeah, $1 million.
See, I think every park should... If you're spending that much money, just make one crazy thing. One, like, super interesting thing. You know what I actually think? Every, like, park commission should have one kid on the board that, like, comes up with an idea. And you implement that, you know what? Across the board. There should be a kid on every decision everywhere. Like, everyone's like, we need this. And a kid's like, you know what? I think we need... what would a kid want in a body of water like that? What, like... A bridge that goes under the water so you can walk under the water, almost like a Ripley's. How hard is it to make one of those? You just get some fiberglass. Let's get some underwater stuff. I want to go under the water and be dry. Something almost like magical that like a kid would be like, I want to go in the water but not get wet. Yeah. Good idea, kid.
We can do that.
We're spending $1 million. Let's have one thing that's like kind of cool.
I want to get back to the dirty water. So it's the same thing in Guyana.
Stew water.
Stew water.
You know what I call mud? Garden gravy. I try to make it more fun. That way, when I fall on it, I'm like, oh, look at me! I'm a French fry in a poutine.
Exactly. At least it makes you, I'm dirtier but tastier.
Yeah. People come and lick me.
We're talking about our good, our filmmaker friend, and she's from Guyana, as my parents and my cultural lineage is Guyanese, and there as well. It's Guyana is actually it's a land of many waters because there's so many rivers that basically come in. But it's also very brown and very exactly like, and it's interestingly exactly like Bordeaux, very muddy.
Yeah.
And you can literally see it from Google Maps. Like there's this like brown hue around the coastline as all this super rich water, and it's actually it's water coming from tributaries from the Amazon.
What is a tributary?
A flow off. Well, tributaries go into bigger rivers. And I forgot what the name of when you flow out of a bigger river. So it's not a tributary. It would be
I think it's called, see you later, I'm getting out of here.
Getting out of this fucking Amazon.
I think that's the technical term.
That's it. So sometimes, river water wants to see the big city. And it's like, it's time to go to an ocean.
Yeah.
And so then it flows through Guyana. And so it literally is stuff that's just so rich coming out of the Amazon. And the funny thing about Guyana is the water is so rich.
Yeah.
There's so much animal life in it that you really can't go in and bathe. And if you talk to Harry...
Well, why can't you go in to bathe? Because you're going to get...
Because I know one guy who went there he went to McGill, and he went there actually on a geography post-grad, some type of work. And event. He had a fucked up finger because he's like just in the Amazon or in Guyana, hand down by the river. A piranha jumped out and bit his hand.
Jesus.
He fucked up. So a
So
piranha.
there's so much life in the water, but a lot of dangerous life. There's something always scary about fishes the darker the water is. Like the deeper down you go into the ocean, the more ghoulish those fish get. It's just sharp ass teeth. But do you think there's something to like now this water's muddier and that? What is it with the less you can see, the more you just got to be a killing machine because it's blinding. So if you see something, you got to make sure you get it with the first bite.
Harry's depth. That's where Depth Flies was shot.
Yeah.
Was at Harry's depth. He's Guyanese, Indo-Guyanese, like our filmmaker friend, and he was taught, and so he grew up in Guyana.
Okay.
And I was born in England, but my parents were there, grew up there. But
Have you gone back to Guyana?
I've never gone back to Guyana.
Do you
either.
want to go?
My mother, I asked her this question about 2 weeks ago, and she was kind of like, "Ooh, wow, yeah, that's a really good question. What was the last time I went back?" And then she's like, "I think 25 years ago, I went back with my sister, and we had to do, and it was because of blah blah blah." But she hasn't been back for 25 years. So
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Do you want to go back?" And she was talking about how a family member was building a new house down there. And then she's like, "Well, show me a picture." And they're like, "Oh, you can come down anytime, Auntie, and spend some time."
Yeah.
And my mom said to me, she's like, "I took a look at that picture." And I'm like, "I'm not going there."
Yeah.
She's like, the roofs. She's like, the ceilings aren't high enough.
Yeah.
And she's like, "This is the tropics. This is going to be hot."
Right.
So she's
Humid.
just like, she's like, "Yeah, they're trying to be cheap and they're building a new house, but they should." And she's like, "I'm not going there." So it's interesting that even now she has a place in Grenada because her partner's from there and they go back. They winter there now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Guyana still not on the radar.
Interesting. What is it like? And for you, what do you think? Would you like to go there?
Well, that's what we're saying with my friend is like, literally we're talking about like shooting a short film there. And I've lived in a tropical place.
Yeah.
When I went to the Seychelles, and when I was like, "Do you really want to go and live there or just spend some time there?" And she's like, "Oh no, I can't live there." And I'm like, "Yeah, I mean, like I can't. I've been very spoiled in Montreal.
I don't even want to live in a different neighborhood here.
Exactly. I can barely get out of the
I
plateau.
don't want to move. I just moved. Like, I'm good to not move for a long time. I don't even want to figure out the logistics of how I get this table to an airport, let alone on a plane, or where a furniture store is in a new place, or...
My mother talks about when she came to Canada, immigrated to Canada, and they literally did come by boat to Montreal, to the port of Montreal.
Oh, really?
Because they brought all their furniture.
Really?
So like,
Is any of that furniture still exist?
Yeah. It still exists, and yeah, it's at their.
But like at your mom's house, is
Yeah.
there really?
Yeah.
What is the furniture
like
that?
cabinets and these weird things that like, I think cabinets that my father made years ago.
Really?
And
What do you think of the craftsmanship?
it's so really delicate. I would hate to move that now.
Is it heavy? It seems like the longer back you go, the heavier furniture is.
It's this weird, and I know why it's heavy now. And I think he made it, but it's because it's old school, like a China display cabinet.
Okay.
But there's a heavy piece of
With glass then?
and there's
like you put
glass
in it.
behind it.
So this thing had glass and it survived a boat ride here. That's pretty
I
impressive.
think
in itself.
he was a cabinet maker also by trade.
Yeah.
So he maybe took it apart and put it back together.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's the big glass piece that's behind it that makes it very heavy, and it has some wiring because you can actually even plug it in, and then you can screw a light bulb into it, and then it makes all your china look super bright and fancy when company comes over.
Were these pieces of furniture kind of like sacred when you were young? Was it like whatever you do not break the glass on this cabinet, or
Oh, absolutely.
was it like these things have survived so much there's nothing you can do to them, or I remember my mom having like this one bowl, and no matter what, don't break this bowl. I broke the bowl by accident, but
But no, there's always a stress, especially in your awkward age between 6 and 14,
death.
that you're always one stumble away from death and my father killing me because I fell into this cabinet, which is for some reason, but at least it was in the...
right in the front of a doorway. With a tripwire in front of it.
To be honest, it was in the living room, in that 1980s style living room where no one ever lived.
Yeah.
Which was just a showpiece of your house.
Was there plastic on a couch?
There was not plastic on the couch.
Not that extreme of no use, but...
Yeah, and we would spend... That's where we would open gifts on Christmas morning.
Yeah.
It's maybe the only time we would use that room.
Yeah.
But this cabinet was in there, and nevertheless, there's always times that you'd... Again, yeah, when your parents are gone and you're 6 and 12 and you're kind of just exploring the entire house.
Yeah.
It's kind of the only time where you actually look into that cabinet.
No one can yell, "What are you doing in there? Get out."
Because any other time, they're just get away from there.
Yeah. There's no need for you to possibly be going in there. There's nothing you need in that place. Everything that's in there comes from before you were born. So there's no reason you need to go near it.
I bought you all these toys.
Yeah.
They're all in the other
all
rooms.
All the new shit's over here.
You can go there.
Yeah.
Go do this.
These memories are so important to me that I don't want to ever look at them or you to ever look at them or ask me anything about them. Yet I cherish them. I don't have time to tell you about it.
So yes, I knew if I ever broke anything in it or even it itself, that was my life.
Yeah. It's almost like the cabinet's more valuable than you. Why can't you be more like the cabinet, George? This cabinet never breaks itself.
That's why I say some days during work, and I get frustrated with people and humanity. And then I'm just and you know what I say, George, you can't train people, you can train flowers. And then I go to my garden, and then you do something to try and make the garden better, and you're like, I hope you guys aren't complaining about this and being like, here comes George again, fucking with me.
So you think you can control the garden?
I don't think I can control, but I can. It accepts guidance.
Yeah.
Because it just doesn't have a mouth.
Well, I always say with animals, I feel like people would like animals a little bit less if they had opinions. It's cute when you come home and your cat's like, meow, 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 meow. And it's like, well, okay, let me get my shoes off. Meow, 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 meow. Give me a minute, cutie pie. Let me give you a quick pet. What's up? Meow, meow, meow. Okay, let's go see your food bowl. Yeah, it's half full. It's not that big a deal. I'll feed it. But if that cat could speak, it would be like, look, I just had a long day of work. Shut the fuck up. Get in there. Fill my goddamn bowl now. I loved when you said that all cats are conservatives. They just sit at the window looking out at other cats being like, I worked for everything I got. Not like these lazy cats out there. Look at those bums out this window. They deserve what they get.
I mean, yeah, these days when I'm trying to live more in the moment, appreciate and be grateful for every day that's sunny and I'm outside and I'm not being pissed on with rain, and being happy that I can be outside at this time of year and the weather is literally not trying to kill you if you stay outside in it too long. Yeah.
On either end, right? Winter or summer.
And just being present.
You know what? You were telling me your morning routine and it was beautiful.
And yeah, I've refined it lately. But I just try to go for a walk. I just do a 10-minute walk. Make it short. First, I was trying to look for big sky, and you gotta get away from the buildings. I can be in my in my unit. I have a lot of light in my office, but then you go outside and you're just the lumens just are boosted so much higher. And then when you get even then on my block,
touches you, right? You're not really touching the rays of the sky or the
exactly,
sun
the rays
inside.
are not touching you.
Yeah.
They're still all blocked by the city, and even like this.
Window.
I only have like townhouses. I mean, it's like 3 floors. It's not very high, but when you get to that park and the big sky,
Yeah.
now it's like that's step one.
It's like the difference between looking at a man-made lake in a park and being
In the ocean. So I want the big sky. I want to find a bird.
Oh.
Track a bird in the sky, something far away, and track it. I'm trying to just wake
Far
up my
away.
brain. And it's every sense. So now when I'm walking there, try to identify different bird calls. Wake up my ears.
Yeah.
Walk by a lavender bush. Smell that.
And when you say track a bird, what do you mean? Like
Track a bird. Like you see a bird, find it. And when I get to that big sky area, I want
Yeah.
to see a bird flying in the sky. And I'm just going to follow it.
so it's almost like the bird is like an anchor to the present for you, right? Like it's almost like this bird is like pulling you into the moment. I love that. That's honestly amazing.
And so, like, and find and then follow it till it disappears. And sometimes, like, this morning, it was great because
Yeah.
it kind of went. And again, I got
What
big
kind of bird was it?
I think just a seagull, that
Yeah.
type of, and it went. And so I got big sky, so it kind of made this big loop around the park
Yeah.
and over Park Avenue from John Mouse Park into Mount Royal Park,
Oh.
then like over Percival Molson Stadium. It's weird. I feel like a bird dog.
Like a what?
I feel like a bird dog when I'm doing it.
A bird dog is like a hunting dog?
Hunting dog, just pointing in like, oh, there it is.
They got the bird radar. Birdar.
And you have to kind of, you have to concentrate and be present. And again, it's just a morning walk. And then when I'm done that, I've tracked the bird. I look up into the sky. Sometimes I'll lay in the grass, but now I'm worried about Lyme disease. But sometimes I will lay on the grass.
Is there an increase in Lyme disease, or
No, it's
is
just-
your knowledge of Lyme disease increased?
I don't know. It's not a little bit of neither of those.
Either.
I just like, if you keep on laying in the grass every morning, you know what's going to happen, George? You're going to get Lyme disease. I don't know
How
why
are you
I
with
put that.
jaywalking?
What?
Do you jaywalk?
Do I jaywalk?
Yeah.
When I do that?
No,
I
I'm saying like I feel like you still jaywalk, but you don't lay in grass.
Yeah, but I won't lay in the grass. But I have been laying in the grass because I want to get that big sky again. And I want no buildings at all now
Yeah.
in my vision. I want nothing of man. And I want to feel that cold earth beneath my body, sky and sea.
Sea.
Well, it's not sea, but land and sky.
Well, you're looking at the sky, so you're seeing
Land
it.
and sky. And I'm just thinking about all the potential in the day.
Yeah.
And then I get up and I go back to work.
What percent is that? What often in a day is that the best part of the day, or does the day just get better from that moment? Or
I think of the potential in the day, and I think of all the surprising good and bad things that happened the previous day.
yeah,
Like, oh, this was something I wasn't expecting at the beginning of the day, and this was positive.
yeah,
And yeah, sure, people are going to also piss me off yesterday, which I wasn't expecting at the beginning of the day, and I had these conflicts.
yeah,
But the joy is in all the unexpected,
always, yeah.
the good and the bad.
It's like you always want what you want, but the best things are the thing you didn't even know you want. Yeah. I was talking to my friend the other day. He's from Australia. Is this like a saying out there? I don't know. Like, he's always like, every time I see him, no matter what, I'll be like, how's it going? And he'll always be like, I feel like a right wretched weathered wallaby. I feel like a right wretched weathered wallaby. Is that a saying? Or is he just saying it?
I've never heard it.
You've never heard that?
The alliteration is charming.
It's pretty good.
A right, what is it?
A right wretched weathered wallaby.
A right wretched what? Weathered.
Oh, I feel like a right wretched weathered wallaby.
Well, I feel like a right wretched weathered wallaby. A right wretched weathered.
But also this guy, I was at his house in the summer last year, and he's like, come over for a barbecue, and we're sitting there, and he's like, you won't go to the Outback? And I was like, what? He's like, you won't go to the Outback for a barbecue. And then I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, you won't go Outback for a barbecue. I was like, he calls his backyard the Outback.
Too much.
Too much.
Again, what would I say about one more pun?
Oh my God, I'm sorry. I apologize. Dream window. Close your eyes and dream with us.
Open the dream window. This dream window has counterbalances in the frame.
Adjust the window levels.
Ooh, can you hear it?
Raise the mystery. Raise that caramel smell coming in the window.
Dive into the dream window.
Dive deep into the dream.
Dive into the dream.
Diving into the dream window.
The dream window is rated by 3 or 4 surgeons as the best podcast to listen to while coming out of a coma. We are
Hart and George. And this is Dream Window.
Follow us.
Like us.
Comment.
Love us.
Where can they find us, Hart?
Find us on Apple Podcast,
YouTube.
Spotify, and all the other major platforms.
This is Dream Window.
This is Hart.
I'm George.
Good night.